Hello and welcome back to the Enricher Business Circle, the podcast for leaders and entrepreneurs who believe that true success is a blend of ambition and well-being. I'm your host, Rickdrieka Bennett. My guest today is defining what it means to be a therapist in a modern age. She is the founder of Manhattan Wellness, a boutique psychotherapy practice designed for young professionals, and she's been featured in prestigious publications like the Cosmopolitan and the Oprah Magazine for her innovative, relatable approach to mental health. A huge welcome to our licensed clinical social worker, Jennifer Teplin. Jennifer,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jennifer. So I really want to jump started off from the beginning. The Enricher community is all about the why behind the business. So could you kind of share with us the story behind Manhattan Wellness and what really inspired you to create it?
Absolutely. So I think every great idea comes from seeing a gap in the market, right? And sort of sitting there and wondering, why has no one done this? Why has no one tried this before? So Manhattan Wellness is no different. I was working at a therapy practice in the city and I was growing my clientele. I was assisting with areas of the business. And every few months, I would kind of notice something like, oh, I would do this differently. I'm sure there's a reason why he's doing it this way, right? And you like always tell yourself this.
Mhm.
And then at one point in time, I just said, you know what? I think I could do this. And I have a lot of ideas of how I think I could make it better, how I could optimize it. And that's really where Manhattan Wellness started. And at first, I thought I was just going to go off on my own and create sort of a wellness hub. So I used the name Manhattan Wellness because it was a little vague. And I thought I was going to open an office space that had therapists and physical therapists and a chiropractor. Who knows? Needless to say, that didn't happen. Um, and I had hired my first employee part time because as much as I am entrepreneurial and I will have to take risks, I like to minimize them as much as possible. So my hires are primarily, unless I'm really doing a big hiring moment, I at the beginning started hiring part time, and it just kind of kept working. And I really allowed when someone would ask a question and I would say, "Oh no, we don't do that." That then pointed me in the direction of what should I be doing next. And
Mhm.
so when I didn't have time slots left, I needed to hire someone new. When someone asked for a certain type of therapist, I realized I needed to add that in. And so I found my nose as a really great compass for growing the business.
Awesome, which really perfectly leads me into my next question. How does your approach at Manhattan Wellness differ from traditional therapy methods?
So it's a good question. I like to say, we say it's a boutique therapy practice because we're offering more than just the therapist who you're going to pay a copay to. From the moment someone reaches out to us, we get back to them within an hour. We could set someone up to see a therapist that night, not because the availability is there, but because our therapists understand that the moment when someone's asking for help is the moment they need it. And we accommodate and we make sure that we can get someone in as soon as they need to be seen. Once you see your therapist, we're submitting claims. We're helping people with the paperwork. You need a recommendation for a facialist, an electrician, whatever it is. Our practice is going above and beyond. And we say, welcome to the Manhattan Wellness family when someone joins, because we really do take care of our clients past just seeing them as their therapist.
Also, I love that because it seems like you guys are doing like a holistic wellness
Mhm.
application for your clients when it comes to things that could be stressing them out for
Yeah,
that very key moment until them actually moving forward.
absolutely.
So when we look at like real world experiences, even with business with and entrepreneurship, because it's not always a bed of roses.
Never
Um,
really.
which specific challenges did you face when launching your boutique in Manhattan? Because I know like it's the city, it's busy, there's a lot of different types of competition, and it definitely had to be stressful.
It was stressful, and to this day, it's still stressful. Like
Okay.
being entrepreneurial, having employees, growing something, doing something different than other people is always going to be I like to say anxiety provoking, or like what keeps me up at night.
Mhm.
The biggest challenges I've had are listening to other people. When I said I'm going to open a boutique therapy practice and it's going to specialize in young professional women, we see clients that are older, younger, male. We see everyone. But
Mhm.
like our real niche clientele is that 20, 30, 40 something woman who knows life could feel better, flow better, wants to just optimize her experience. And everyone said you're pigeonholing yourself. There's a reason why everyone says adult therapy, not as specific. And my perspective, and I still hold true to this, is I wouldn't go to a general practitioner for brain surgery. So why is someone just going to an adult therapist for their mental health care? Like there's a reason specialties exist. There's a reason that niches exist. And I really just bet against what everyone was saying. And it really worked out. There's something so amazing when I get on a consultation call with a potential client, and I do all of the practices consult calls. So if someone reaches out, they have the opportunity to get on a call with me, share what's going on, and I match them with the provider who I think is the right fit and has availability for them. And
Okay.
when I hear someone say, "Oh my God, you are describing me," I'm like, thank God. Because it has to feel so good versus being like, okay, this person may be able to help me, they may not. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Right? It's confusing. And I think we're able to really give clarity through this niche focus that so many people were saying, oh my God, don't do it. It's totally crazy. Don't bother. And then my other biggest challenge is my fear of hiring too many people. When I hire someone, I want to make sure I can fill them because our employees are paid based off of the work that they're doing.
Right.
So if you hire too many people, then a bunch of people are sitting around and they're like, what the heck is going on? So I really try to balance being entrepreneurial with also honoring the fact that like humans need to pay their bills. And if you're giving someone a job, you need to be able to have responsibility for them to take over. So
Mhm.
balancing those two things, I would say, is one of the larger challenges of my practice.
And I love the fact that you said that, because I think that was one of my biggest things of when I was in the process of hiring. I was like, do I need someone who's going to be part-time, or do I need someone who's going to be temporary because
Mhm.
of the type of work? Because I know there are certain seasons in my company that we get like overload of business with it being a marketing agency. Like the holidays are our busiest, one of the busiest seasons once
Mhm.
October hits going into the new year.
Mhm.
So identifying and being willing to sit with yourself and say, I need to consider other people as I bring them on. Because a lot of people don't do that.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. And I think I even see it. My sister-in-law runs my back end office. She has an executive assistant business. And I even see it with her and her business and wanting to grow it. Like the potential's there, the opportunity is there, but it's scary to say, like, yes, let me be your employer. Like
Mhm.
there's something really empowering about having employees, but there's also something so committal and you don't want to like I like to under promise and overperform. And I
Mhm.
think so many people in this world overpromise and then hope that no one notices.
Right. Yeah, I definitely get that, because I know with me, what I did was, when I was hiring, I would offer 20 hours a week, and then if I had extra work for
Mhm.
those persons, I would say, "Hey, we still have X amount of things that needs to be done. Would you like to take on those extra hours?" And I
Yeah.
find that that's like the perfect blend and balance versus just hiring someone full time and then
And
you
crossing
don't
your
have.
fingers.
Yeah.
Mhm. I totally get it. And then there's sometimes you end up kicking yourself and you're like, "Oh my God, I filled their hours so fast. I need another person." But I'd rather be in that situation than not have enough work.
And I definitely love that. So I guess my question would be, you've been featured in some massive publications. Um,
Mhm.
how has that leveled your exposure and impact in your work?
It's so interesting, and I actually was thinking about this earlier today because I have an interview with Self Magazine tomorrow.
Okay.
And me 10 years ago would have been like, I'm going to get featured in this magazine. I'm going to blow up. It's going to be amazing. I'm still waiting for that day. I that it. And I hate to disappoint anyone who thought I was about to say, like, it changes your life. It's great. I find that it's much more validates who we are and that we are a good company and someone that's trustworthy over sending 1,000 clients our way. And when I was first a therapist, I would get these amazing features and opportunities, and then I'd wait by the phone, right? Like, you know, going back and forth, being like, when's it going to hit? It hasn't. Maybe for some people it does, but I find that it gives us better reach. It honestly, I believe very strongly in website SEO, and having like Oprah or Cosmo linked to us definitely optimizes for SEO and for clients to find us like in Google. But it by no means is it changing something overnight. Unfortunately, I find that there's no easy answer for blowing up a business. I think it's really about consistency, reach, and effort, and being willing to meet people where they're at.
And I definitely love the fact that you said that, because a lot of people think that being featured is going to automatically drive that traffic to your company overnight. And that's never really the case. But I also love the fact that you're optimizing SEO using backlinks to connect to those sites, because that will over time compound your reach
Absolutely.
with your company. And that's the best way to do it organically. And people don't realize that that approach outweighs everything versus thinking that it's going to be some kind of like
Mhm.
popcorn flood that comes.
And like, if you're that freckle, like glitter freckle company and Taylor Swift wore your freckles to like a football game, sure, like you're going to blow up overnight. But for most of us, it's not the case. And I do a lot of coaching for therapists and therapy practices. And I often find them saying, like, what's the one thing? Like, there is no one thing. It is so many things, and you have to just do it all and believe that it's going to work. And what I find so frustrating in business, and our company is doing amazing. Like, we are on an upward trajectory. I'm so proud of it. But just to speak candidly with you, I am yet to find the faucet of like, if I invest this in Google Ads, or if I go on this many podcasts, then X amount of clients come through. There's no faucet. I'm yet to find it. If anyone has the faucet, please report back to me. But it really is about trial and error. I find like the market, the clientele, everything is always changing. So it's about being flexible, being curious, and asking for help and identifying what you're not great at. Like, I am not great at SEO, but I have an amazing web designer and my back end, my sister-in-law, who loves optimizing websites. And so she does it, and she has all these ideas. And, you know, the fear mindset is like, oh, no, don't do that. I don't understand it. But I think the growth, curious, humble mindset is, I don't know much about it. I trust you, though. Let me know how I can help you, and allowing people to actually take steps forward and lead.
And I think as an entrepreneur, when you are in a CEO mindset, you have to step back, because if you're in just the solopreneur mindset,
Mhm.
then you're going to always be in that fearful state of, should I do this or should I not do this? But when
It's
you
limiting.
transition to looking at your business from a CEO lens, it's like, okay, I can't do everything myself. Let me allow others to be who they are uniquely and grow into what they are
Mhm.
uniquely. So I definitely love the fact that you said that, and allowing people who know more to do things, because
Yeah.
that's what we fail at, is because we don't understand it, we fail to hire someone else or put someone in the position who's better at it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So, I guess my next question for you would be, for those who are young professionals listening right now, and they may be struggling to balance their career drive for success with a deep need for personal fulfillment, what would be a core piece of advice that you would give
It would be time blocking
them?
and being flexible. I don't know that there's any perfect work-life balance. Like, I don't get 60% work, 40%, you know, recharging. That's great. I think if you can feel balanced more times than not, so
Mhm.
60% of the time, you're good. So out of 7 days, if 4 of them feel super balanced, to me, you're on the right track. I think so often when we talk about self-care and work-life balance and all these things, people think this is the strict, rigid way I have to do it, and it has to be all the time or it's not working. And that all or nothing mindset is so limiting. I find for so many young professionals also, they're not sure what recharging really looks like. I think so often people think like I have to journal, then I have to meditate for 40 minutes and X, Y, or Z. No, start to notice, what are you doing in your daily life that makes you feel your best? Do more of that. We don't have to necessarily add something new into the mix to feel good. And it's not necessarily outside of yourself. I recently got into needle pointing, and I know it sounds so like old lady, and I'm sort of, tracking that way, but it brings me joy. I relax, I recharge. I love seeing my progress. And like that does not take a lot of effort, but I think it's just being curious and trying something new.
And I love the fact that you said that, because like with me, um, when it comes to balance, I don't look at try to make everyday balance.
It's
Sometimes I go
impossible.
by, sometimes I just go by weeks or something like that. Cause like for
Mhm,
example, last week was I know it was all focus week, whereas this week is going to be more self care, relax week, and
mhm,
enjoying family. So I know that there is going to be an imbalance from week to week. And I
mhm.
don't try to stress to make every week like a 50-50 split.
It's just impossible. And I think that we have this really wild expectation through like the influencer who's making her matcha in the dark and she's so well rested. Like that is just not life. And I think we got to own that.
And I think what the reality of it is a lot of the influence, they don't realize that some influencers are just doing something for content, and
Mhm.
that may not be how that person is truly living their lives, versus this person who's actually doing it from day to day. Like you may see one person do a day in a life and they just randomly post it this month, but then that may not be there. But if you see someone actually doing this each day as a part of a daily routine, then you can be like, oh, well, yeah, I can actually follow this person because this person is actually going live doing this, versus the person who has sat down, recorded the content, edited the content to make it look pretty for you. And I
I
think
love the influencer who shows himself getting out of bed. I'm like, how do you think the camera got set up? Come on, people. Too good.
yeah, and so I think sometimes we get caught up in the pretty picture
Mhm.
versus actually thinking about it from a real life perspective. And because of technology, we look at that shiny picture syndrome more than something that's realistic.
I totally
Because
agree.
I'm like, in order for them to get started in the day in the life of, they have to either hire
Mhm.
someone to be recording them while they're sleeping,
100%, which they're not.
or have something set up and
Mhm.
and just act it out. So yeah, that's the thing that I definitely feel that we should take time to really self-reflect on
Mhm.
what is unique and true
Yeah,
before we latch on to it.
100%. And it's okay to try different things. Like try the meditation, try the book, try the needlepoint, try calling a friend to catch up. Like it doesn't have to be so complex. See how it feels for a few days. And if that's not it, move on to the next.
Right. Because I know, like, for me, one day it may be, like, drawing, and then the next day it may be loading up on a lot of different YouTube videos, seeing what's the
Right.
trend. So mine vary from week to week. It may not always be the same, but I think the only thing I do truly hold truth to is, like, at the end of the day, doing a brain dump and reflecting on my day.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I wanted to kind of dive into that could kind of stood out for your philosophy from your philosophy is your concept of kind of stripping away the labels and the titles. Can you kind of explain what that means?
Yes, I find that in this day and age, everyone loves to diagnose themselves.
Mhm.
Everyone loves to label themselves, put themselves in a box. And I think it's kind of twofold. One aspect of it is, oh, I understand why I am the way I am now, right? And then two, it's sort of pressing the blame and like reducing the ownership of like, of course I can't get my notes or my email done. I have ADHD. And it's like, okay, you may have ADHD. That's cool. You can still be successful. And how can you let that inform how to continue moving forward rather than having that be the reason why you're stopped in your tracks? And I think that when we can strip away the label, strip away the diagnosis, and just help you feel better, however better feels to you, there's a lot more flexibility and fluidity to finding success.
And I think that's a great point because we're in this world of Google and WebMD and
Mhm.
ChatGPT where everybody is trying to get loaded with information, and
Yeah.
they start labeling so many different things based off of all of the input,
Mhm.
and that's not always healthy.
Absolutely not. And sometimes it's just a personality trait. It's not autism. It's not depression. Like you're just feeling sad today, and that's okay. I think it's normal. And I think like waxes and waning of emotion and feeling and function makes sense. And most people are experiencing that. But I think we have this need to be unique that makes us think that we're so special or we're really suffering when you're just not feeling perfect. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think in your process of removing the labels, you're really defining the elements of therapy, and it's more like a future integration of a futuristic integration of what therapy could really be. Because I know going through therapy and going and actually doing it myself, I do feel like sometimes they add labels onto you when you're going through the process and then you attach yourself to it. So I definitely love the fact that you're not attaching the labels, which leads me to my final question. Um, what's next for Manhattan Wellness, and how do you see the future of your field evolving?
So, what's next for Manhattan Wellness? 5 million things. One of our most exciting things is that we're starting virtual community events
Okay.
where we're going to have a book club. We're going to have speaker series. We're really trying to find ways to reach, you know, our community larger than just the clients that we see here locally. We also are expanding to different states. So we're trying to expand our reach to support people clinically and also just to give people a place to feel like they belong and like they're a part of something. I would say for my field at large, it's so interesting. During the pandemic, so many people went virtual and so many practices have remained virtual, but we're finding so many people are reaching out for individual in person therapy, which is something that we do offer. And so I think that a lot of therapists are going to be returning back to the office. People like to leave their space
Mhm,
and have somewhere to go to release the feelings and what they're experiencing.
mhm,
And, I think the biggest thing that we're able to offer are our free resources and our ways for people to kind of find belonging outside of just being in our therapy space. And I recently put together that I would love to share with you a workbook on negative thoughts and negative held beliefs, which I think whether you are an entrepreneur and trying to grow a business or start an idea, or you are an everyday person who has a job and you just feel like things are getting stuck, and you can get that free download at gettherapytips.com. And
okay.
it's amazing. I think it's like a 10-page workbook at this point. I keep kind of adding to it. Like my business, I'm always adding and updating and zhuzhing. But I find that it's so nice to be able to take a concept like negative thoughts or negative health beliefs and
Mhm.
really start to work on it at home in a way that can start to feel impactful for your everyday life.
And I love the fact that you're doing that and always building on top of it, because there's always something new that we can add on. It's kind of like what we've been doing for our clients is developing a prompt ebook with different prompts
Mhm.
to help them optimize for the new year. And every time I test prompts, I'm always updating the ebook
You have to, right?
people can have it, because so many different AIs are changing so quickly that you have to be more precise with
Mhm.
things that are going on. So, Jennifer, what other ways can they connect with you outside of the website?
So you can reach out to us at hello@manhattanwellness.org,
Okay.
or on Instagram, TikTok, it's manhattan.wellness. But I would
Okay.
say the best way to stay constantly with us is to get on our newsletter and our mailing list, which through that gettherapytips.com and getting that virtual free offer will set you up to receive our community events, our newsletters, our free resources. There's a lot of good stuff that we send out, and that's a great way to capture all of the potential opportunities.
Awesome. And Jennifer, this has definitely been an enlightening conversation. And I love the fact of the different things that you're doing, especially for entrepreneurs. Um,
Mhm.
and I wanted to thank you for your incredible work of what you're doing as well, and for sharing your wisdom on today. And thank you to all the listeners for today that are joining in for this episode of the Enricher Business Circle. Remember, true success is not just about the title on the door, but it's also about the peace that's in your heart. Until next time, stay enriched and stay growing into your authentic self.